Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Faye D'Souza. We've had a few days to process the information that is coming out of Odisha after that terrible train tragedy that claimed over 280 lives and injured more than 1,000 people. Perhaps one of the worst accidents we've had in our history of the Indian Railways. Joining me this evening is someone who perhaps can help us process the information a little better and understand what is going on a little better. Mr. Sudhanshu Mani is the former general manager of the Indian Railways. He's the architect of the Vande Bharat train, or what was called Train 18 when he was designing it. And he spent a lifetime with the Indian Railways, both in his career and I understand even before that, as a young child and a young person, when he was pretty much in love with trains. He will help us understand today. He's been kind enough to give us his time to understand what happened really and why the CBI is currently involved in this investigation of what happened on that fateful day. Mr. Mani, first of all, good evening and thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
Would you be kind enough to explain to our audience how, in your opinion, the Coromandel Express moved into what is known as the loop line and collided with that goods train? How did that happen?
All right, so at this station, the first heavy goods train was received on the loop line. It stopped there. After that, the facing point where the train either goes to the loop line or the main line should have been normalized, setting the route to main line because the loop line was occupied. We'll come to that later, whether it was done or not. And Coromandel Express followed this train. Signal was given to it to go through main line.
Mm-hmm.
But the route remained set for the loop line. It took loop line at a very high speed, 130 kilometers or 128 kilometers, as I understand. And rest was just catastrophe because, first of all, you have to negotiate a loop line at 30 kilometers per hour. So that itself, negotiating that loop line at 130 itself is a dangerous situation. Assuming that it did somehow negotiate it within seconds, it went ahead and collided with the goods train. Coaches got scattered all over because the impact was very high. And the Yashwantpur Express was coming on the down main line, and some of the coaches collided with those coaches, and it was mayhem, and we lost so many lives. Now, the interlocking system would never permit a route to be set to loop line, whereas the signal is given for the main line or vice versa. So how did it happen? The interlocking system is a fail-safe system. If something goes wrong, if there is a component failure or anything, any malfunction, it reverts to a safe mode and turns all the signal red. So there's no danger of an accident. And this has been tested time and again, and it's proven that it's a fail-safe system. So only way this could have happened, that the route is set to loop, but the signal is given for main line. If a human intervention in the secure location box or hut or relay room of the station, bypassed something, interfered with it in some manner, disturbed the interlocking logic by jumpering or shorting a relay or whatever. And such a situation could only arise through this human intervention, unauthorized human intervention. And now such an unauthorized human intervention is possible only by the maintainer himself, who is the custodian, or as the government believes, it could be some foul play. So you also asked why a CBI inquiry? Yes, that's unprecedented. Usually it's done by the Commissioner of Railway Safety, and he does a good job. CBI inquiry now seems to follow some information that government must have that there is foul play at work. If there is, it's a security subject, not a technical subject of railways, so I cannot comment on that. But they must have some information that they want to supplement the Commissioner of Railway Safety's inquiry by a CBI inquiry as well.
Mr. Mani, in your career and your experience, has there ever been a CBI inquiry into a train accident?
I don't remember, but I cannot say with certainty. There was this Kanpur accident in 2016 where sabotage was suspected, and NIA was involved in that investigation. As for CBI, I don't remember any such case, but I may be wrong. I don't know.
You did say, of course, it's not possible for it to have been a technical snag in any way because there's a fail-safe. So if I understand this correctly, if there's a malfunction of either the technology or the equipment, the system shuts down and the train is not allowed to go any further. Is that correct?
Largely, yes. What it means is that it will fail. If something fails, it fails in a fail-safe mode. That means it will immediately take an intelligent action to make sure that an accident cannot happen, which translates in this case in terms of turning the signal red and stopping the train even before it comes to the loop facing point.
Mr. Mani, if it is indeed human intervention, as you have said, there are two options here. One is negligence or failure to do one's job, someone actually not doing their job adequately. The other is the possibility of a criminal activity or sabotage.
Yeah.
Assuming in the second case of sabotage, could it have been done by just one person, or did that person actually need to be, would that person actually need to collude with more than one person?
So this intervention has most likely been done near the level crossing, which is not in the main relay room, but a remote hut. Now, this hut, unlike the relay room, is under custody of only the maintainer. The station staff, there's no double lock there. Because these are small, these are not rooms, these are very small huts or location boxes and so on. Now, it's very much possible somebody to damage that lock, access it, and if he has, through some clever follow-up or something, has developed an understanding as to what can be done here to cause an accident, which is not easy because you need to understand the system, but it's not beyond possibility. So it could have been done by, yes, one person also. Breaking open the lock may require help from another person, may not be so easy. Yeah. But after that, once he gets access, and then the act of bypassing a relay or some such thing would be easy for one person to do.
Would that person need a working knowledge of how?
Yeah, I would think so. That it will not be something. I mean, it's not just offhand you go ahead and short something or bypass something. He would need some kind of a knowledge to, if it's a targeted criminal activity, to exactly duplicate what has happened. He would need some knowledge of that particular equipment.
So, if there is a possibility this could have been an inside job.
Yeah, I mean, you see, if you ask me my opinion, it looks there was some information that there was some work going on at the level crossing, but this is hearsay. I mean, this is something which is going around in WhatsApp, and I mean, I cannot vouchsafe, but there was this information. Some work was going on at the level crossing. The boom of the level crossing was malfunctioning, and there was a problem with that, and there was a risk that the train may get detained because the boom was not coming down. So somebody with a concern not to detain a train would have gone to the location box and tried to lower the boom or similar action, and he made an error of judgment, did something else. What happened to the boom, I don't know, but might have caused this accident to happen. This is a reconstruction which the inquiry would reveal. I'm saying this based on the hearsay information I got that some such thing has happened. Why I tend to believe that this would have happened is because slipshod, or I will not call it slipshod, cavalier, carefree working at times, and mainly because of pressure of work, so that trains don't get detained. The window of maintenance has become smaller as train number of trains have gone up.
Yeah.
Staff sometimes have a tendency to do this kind of shortcut work. When I say sometimes, I would have come across such a case maybe 2 or 3 times in my entire career. Uh, so it's not beyond possibility. What is important is that if this such a practice was prevalent, when I say prevalent, I don't mean it's happening every day. If it was prevalent and there were 3, 4, 5 cases which we came to notice and were brushed under the carpet, then that's a very serious matter. Because one case and you have to deal it with such a firm, heavy hand that nobody would repeat it at the risk of losing one's job or something like that. So again, that's a matter of the inquiry to find out whether it was a criminal activity. If no, whoever did it made a plain and simple mistake, or whoever did it thought that he was doing the job quickly and it was matter of minutes. He would lower the boom and then whatever, something like that. So it's all a matter to be investigated thoroughly. My point always is that if it was something which was repeatedly done, and repeatedly doesn't mean 100 times, even 2, 3 times, then it is, the buck cannot stop at the signal maintainer or the station master. It has to go higher. To what extent you have want to take it higher is management's decision.
Mr. Mani, we do understand. I do understand that this particular route that this accident took place on is a very busy route. It's functioning at 100% capacity. Does the maintenance staff, or would the maintenance staff be given enough blocks where the trains are stopped for them to conduct maintenance of the tracks? Could that have also led to maybe what you call hurried maintenance, or what you call cavalier
Yeah.
maintenance?
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, it's a known fact that trains have increased, and there is a pressure to complete maintenance, whether track or signaling or OHE, to do it quickly so that trains don't get detained. There is that pressure. This one doesn't look like exactly because of pressure alone. Of course, there's a pressure that the train Coromandel is coming, do your work quickly. It looks like that it's perhaps the maintainer thought that well, it's very easy, the box is nearby, let me do this and get over with the job. Or after all, you see, he's the custodian. I mean, there no safety system can be built if the custodian himself decides to play with the system. It's true for anything. I give an example. For example, if you are at a crossing, road crossing, so traffic lights have a conflict resolution module. If you turn, if for some reason the system is turning all lights green, the conflict resolution will come into play and not permit it. Now, if a hacker hacks the computer resolution system itself, you can imagine then the crossing you have green lights on both sides, and it would, if it's a busy crossing, there can be a very very serious accident. So this is a case, if not a criminal activity, of somebody who knows the system and in his cavalier attitude has gone and done this without, he might have done it earlier also. Usually you get away. It's a matter of 3, 4 minutes. But here the circumstances combined such that it resulted in a very, very massive accident.
Mr. Mani, there are accusations right now towards government saying not enough attention is being paid to safety. We keep launching new trains. We keep launching high-speed trains without building the capacity for safety or for the ability to handle that speed. Is this a statement you agree with?
I will not fully agree with it. I'll tell you why. First of all, introduction of trains or higher speed trains, Vande Bharat, or talking about railway station development, which is swankier railway stations. Not many have been done, only two, three have been done, but talking about them and planning about them is exclusive to doing your job for safety and track upgradation. I mean, both are not, these are different departments. uh, capex investment is not a problem. It's such a happy situation in terms of funds because the what used to be 40,000, 50,000 crore per year has gone to 2,60,000 crore. This is all government money which is pouring in, and most of it is government budgetary supports, not even borrowings. It used to be a heavy component of borrowing, so it's a may not be a happy situation for the government, but it's happy situation for Indian Railways. So funds are not a problem. So that means greater focus on safety and track upgradation, infrastructure upgradation is not a problem because of any money shortage. So focus and execution needs more attention. So I would say definitely in the wake of this accident, there is a time to wake up. Good work has been done. Kavach has been developed. It's a very modern signaling system. It's been done by Indian engineers. But then the implementation of Kavach, implementation of track renewal, track rehabilitation, track upgradation work, which does not have the same visibility as a train or a station, right? People don't go and take selfies there. That focus may be a little bit lost out, so that should be revived, and more and more attention should be given to these works.
But is it also not true, Mr. Mani, that while the total allocation to the Indian Railways has in fact gone up, the portion of it that we're spending on maintenance, track upgradation, and safety has not increased in proportion?
Correct. So yes, that's what I'm saying. So if money is not a problem, allocation for this perhaps has been done with a view to whatever is the capacity of the zonal railways to spend. So that capacity has to increase, and you have to make more and more allotment, even at the cost of, say, reducing swankier, say, trains or stations. Although that may not be necessary, I'm sure funds are not a problem. So yes, allotment should be. I would say allotment in these areas should be tripled, not even double, tripled, and then it should be made sure that they are executed with great focus. Indian Railways is a great organization. When you give it, when a focus is given to officers, they usually achieve it.
Mr. Mani, in my understanding, the Vande Bharat train or the train 18 was tested for 180 kilometers an hour. You can run it at 160 kilometers an hour. But in India, we don't have the track capability right now to be able to handle those speeds. Is it a matter of concern that we have so many of these trains out on the tracks at this point without building the capability for them?
Okay, so yeah, the utopia would have been that as the trains were getting built, you should have matching track. A lag of couple of years is also fine. The train was designed for 160 kilometers per hour, for which we have only one track right now, Delhi to Agra. So it was done with the future in mind that by the time that train gets developed, gets proven, we'll have more such tracks. Sanctions were forthcoming. For example, Delhi Mumbai and Delhi Howrah tracks are sanctioned for 160 kilometers per hour upgradation. Somehow that work has not progressed at the desired speed. Uh, Again, money is not a problem. Allocation must have been given based on the capacity of the railways at present to execute. To exploit the potential of the train fully, it is necessary that the upgradation of these sections to 160 kilometers per hour should be taken up on priority. And let me tell you, when I say upgrade the speed, it doesn't mean that safety will go down. Safety will actually get enhanced with these actions. So one should not feel that reducing the speed of train leads to better safety. Not true. When you upgrade the track, whatever needs to be attended in the track would be done, and it would be in fine fettle for 160 kilometers per hour. So it also needs much more attention. The train is good as it is at 130 because of its higher acceleration, deceleration. It cuts
Mm.
down travel time. Amenities are good, but it would cut down travel time much more if it is run at 160. And that the USP of the train is somewhat lost when you run it at.
Mm. Uh, this is a slightly subjective question, if I may, with your permission, ask it. We do know, of course, that the Commissioner for Rail Safety is fully equipped to conduct as thorough an investigation, not just technical, but also into human error, into any train accident or mishap. Um, what would the CBI necessarily be investigating other than maybe motive in this case? Because isn't the Commissioner of Rail Safety fully equipped to investigate any of the things we just talked about?
Yeah, so that's the case in most of the accidents. I'm not getting into what information the government has, but assuming there is some information which indicates foul play, then the it's not really CRS's domain to look into
Mm.
state security aspects. So to that extent, involvement of CBI is fine. What information government has, I have no idea. What information I had, and that too was hearsay, I've already told you.
Yes. I respect your answer. Of course, I could argue that then that becomes a job for the NIA or the not necessarily the CBI, because now we're talking about national security. But we'll put a pin in that. We have a couple of questions from our audience members. If, with your permission,
Yeah.
Raj Patro says, if Kavach could not save this tragedy, is there any technology available which could have actually stopped this from happening?
Yeah, so that's the biggest question today. Kavach would have reduced the extent of damage by, I mean, it's a matter of guess, 5-10%, because it would have braked the train once it came on the loop, not before that. So the accident would have definitely happened had Kavach been there. So to that extent, the person from the audience is right. But the system that we have for interlocking, double lock in the reading room, and is not unique to India. This is the system all over the world. Uh, Now, maybe the in our social conditions, maybe in our way of working, maybe in our culture, we need stronger safeguards. Now, what that safeguards could be is not something I can, one man can easily tell you. It needs a lot of deliberation. For example, it's easy to say for me that all these location boxes and huts should also have double lock.
Yes.
But you see, a station has only one station master and a pointsman, or maybe two pointsmen. For why, where the maintainer has to go to the location, the station staff to trundle all along to all these points would be very, very impractical because he has to do regular train running job also. So it's not so easy. But in these days, just a wild thought, it could be a mobile or a similar device and an IT application where you could have some kind of a digital lock, a double lock, which is not with ESM, the maintainer alone to access, or a greater study to enhance this safeguard. You see, all these safeguards would have some impact on train running. But safety has to take precedence over timely train running. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the kind of tragedy that has taken place. So perhaps it's time to, irrespective of whether a criminal has done it or whoever, for Indian Railways to sit down, deliberate, and think of ways to enhance the safeguards in the system.
Mr. Mani, we have you know trains that run into thousands and thousands of kilometers across our country, a very vast network. As we introduce more high-speed trains, we also have the challenges that are particularly Indian: animals crossing across the tracks. We have villages, we have road crossings. How far away are we from being able to secure our tracks and our trains from obstruction?
So you would remember, we are in 2023. I remember 30 years back, even senior IAS officer, the railwaymen, when I talked to them, they said fencing a road in India is impossible. Villages, this, villages are. But we have expressways today, right, with fencing.
Yes.
And animals don't come on expressways. It's happening. So fencing of railway tracks is very much possible. And these 160 kilometer per hour upgradation, fencing is also part of that work. So that's why I said it boils down to the same thing again. Upgrade your track for 160 kilometers, and a lot of safety aspects automatically come into train running. So by increasing the speed, you are actually building more safety, not reducing safety. But it has to happen. Unlike the regular trains, which do hit cattle every day, 20 cattle, buffaloes or cows are killed every day in India by trains. Vande Bharat, because it is Vande Bharat, it draws attention, and because it has an aerodynamic front, it gets damaged. Other trains have an ugly cow catcher, they don't get damaged that much. And there's so much attention of everyone, including the Prime Minister, on the train. So once it gets damaged, it makes big news. But with this track upgradation, that can also be obviated, and we have to do it. There's no other way, because there is a damage which takes place to the train, and then it is repaired only in the depot, and it costs money, it costs effort, and so on. Yes.
Mr. Mani, I want to thank you for your time this evening. Thank you so much for speaking with us and helping us understand the tragedy. We do hope we can talk again when the investigation becomes a little clearer as to what the CBI is looking into right now. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.